What's up? It's Ben from WOD Prep, and welcome to our official 25.2 strategy video. The good news for you is we already have an extensive, detailed, awesome video going over this workout because it's a repeat of 22.3. Here's the workout. You should already know what it is, and many of you have already done it. So here's what's different about what we're doing this week. In this video, I am specifically going to help athletes who are struggling with double unders, pull-ups, or bar muscle ups. If you are someone that doesn't struggle with any of those things, look in the comments or the description and go watch my full 22.3 strategy guide. It's super detailed. It covers pacing, covers overall strategy to get the best score on the leaderboard, and there's a lot of tips to help you with all these movements. Go watch the other video if you want the full detailed strategy, and we have a lot of other stuff we can send to you. You can also go to wodprep.com/open. Sign up with your name and email, and I will send you all of our free resources that are going to help you with all these movements, including detailed videos, plus the 22.3 strategy, and a whole bunch more, and it's completely free. Also, if you are someone struggling with these movements, this video is going to help. But if you want a WOD Prep coach to analyze your video, you literally join this group, upload videos, say, help me with my double unders, and my coaches will help you get double unders or bar muscle ups or pull-ups. It's only $3. Click the link on the screen, scan the QR code. It's WOD Prep's 2025 open coaching group, and yes, it's only $3 to join. And last thing to mention is this video is brought to you completely free, including all this awesome equipment. The videographer I'm paying by RX Smart Gear. They have sponsored WOD Prep for 25.2, and that means you can get a huge discount and help support WOD Prep. If you go to rxsmartgear.com, use the code WODPrep20. They have the best jump ropes, including specific jump ropes that I will tell you about in this video that will help you learn double unders, regardless of your ability level. And they have my absolute favorite gymnastic grips. So if you want to go get kitted out for 25.2, go to rxsmartgear.com and use the code WODPrep20. So to kick this video off, we are going to dig into double unders. Okay, let's dig into it. Here are the down and dirty, my best tips for getting unbroken double unders. Number one, you need to get a longer jump rope. I know it sounds crazy. How do I know you need a longer jump rope? Well, the reason I know is because most people that I coach, over 90% of them, my first order of business is for them to increase their rope length. And here's why. I want you to listen to me doing these double unders. Listen closely. Tap, 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 tap. If when you go for double under attempts, you can't hear the rope clicking the ground twice, your rope is too short. It might be because you're lifting your arms. Rather than trying to tell you to keep your arms down, which is very difficult in a workout like 25.2, the easiest way to fix your double unders and stop tripping is to get a rope that's longer. I recommend if you pull the rope up and your rope is only as long as your chest or your nipple height, it's probably a little too short. I'm really good at double unders, so I can keep my arms down. But most beginners tend to lift their arms. So I suggest making sure that your rope, whichever one you're using, is at least to your clavicle, maybe even higher if you have extreme arm lift. Rather than trying to fix your arms, just spin the rope, get a longer rope. It's going to make you trip less. And here's why. When I'm doing double unders, my hands are here. This rope is clicking the ground. You can see how the rope is on the ground. However, when I lift my hands, even just a little bit, that rope is now off the ground. Think about it. If the rope is off the ground and my feet are right here, what's happening? That rope is getting dangerously close to my feet while I'm in the air. However, if the rope is longer, or you keep your hands down, that rope will touch the ground and skim the ground as it passes under your feet, which means more margin for error and less tripping. So step number one, for a lot of people, get a longer rope. Step number two, to help you trip less, is get a heavier cable. So many athletes, immediately when they start practicing double unders, they get the Ferrari of jump ropes. They get the fastest cable, the fastest rope they can find because they think speed is their problem. That's actually incorrect for most people. Again, in that double under coaching group, most people needed to get a heavier jump rope, and here's why. The analogy I use is if you're trying to learn how to drive a car, would you rather learn how to drive a car that's a Ferrari, or would you rather have a Ford Windstar minivan or a Honda Civic or something slower? Think about it. If you make a mistake with a Ferrari, it's going to hurt. It goes too fast. It's really touchy. You're going to have problems. However, if you drive a slower, more reliable, calmer vehicle, you're going to make less mistakes when you're learning how to drive. Same thing with double unders. A slightly longer rope and a slightly heavier cable will force you to slow down a little bit, which will cause less tripping. Secondarily, a heavier cable keeps its form better. A heavier cabled rope will keep its shape as it goes around your body, and it's going to do less twisting and pushing to one side, which often causes lots of people to trip with their double unders. So again, get a slightly longer rope and try a rope with a heavier cable. This is the rope that I recommend for beginners. It really doesn't matter which rope you get, but if you do want the exact one that I recommend, go to rxsmartgear.com, use the code WATPREP20, pick up the custom fit rope. It's not super expensive, and get the 3.4 ounce or 2.6 ounce cable. Those are heavy enough for beginners, and generally when you're looking at your sizing, go one size up. I promise you, it's gonna help you learn double unders. Next, when you're practicing double unders, a lot of people struggle with the timing. I want you to put your rope down and practice penguin claps. Penguin claps are when I jump in the air and I clap my hips twice. Here's what it looks like unbroken. That directly emulates the timing of double unders. When I'm doing double unders, watch my hand and listen to the click of the rope. You'll notice the click of the rope when it's touching the ground, passing through during the double unders, is the same cadence as me clapping my hips. When I spin the jump rope for double unders, if you struggle with that timing, if you can learn how to do penguin claps properly, meaning as I jump in the air, imagine I'm in the air, I clap, clap, and then I have a little bit of a reset. That's the cadence for double unders. But if you can figure out your penguin clap timing, you will be able to unlock the timing for double unders. Next tip, especially for 25.2, when you're doing your double unders, I want you to feel the beat. So many athletes in this workout will do this. Ow, that really hurt. Don't do that. Every time you trip on your double unders or you're starting a set of double unders, I want you to do the following. Take a deep breath. 2, do some big single unders like this. Notice this is a double under jump. I want you to do 2 or 3 of those big singles and then do your double unders. So rather than immediately trying a double under and failing, I want you to take a deep breath, 1, 2, 3, and then transition to your double unders. What that does is it's kind of like dancing to a song. You feel the beat, you're like, all right, here's the beat, and then you bust a dance move. Next, for the purposes of 25.2, if you are someone that has a hard time hitting big sets of unbroken double unders, but you can do this, you're able to do single double in the open, it's okay. So don't get caught up in trying to hit big unbroken sets if it means you trip and you're tangled up in your rope and you're breathing heavy and you're frustrated. If you need to, single double is okay because it keeps the rope spinning and you can get through your reps even if it's a little slower. And the last and most important tip for double unders, tie your freaking shoes. If you don't double knot your shoes, if you don't tie your shoe and then do a double knot, I never want to see you watch a single one of my videos ever again. The amount of people who do the open workouts and in the middle of the workout, they trip on their double unders because their shoe comes untied. Double knot your shoes, make it tight. Do not let your shoes come untied in this workout. I promise, I'm gonna save at least a dozen people from that ridiculously embarrassing moment of having their shoes come untied and tripping. Now it's time to do some quick tips for the pull-ups. So this is both chin over bar and chest to bar. Regardless of which one you are struggling to get, this will help you. Number 1, you need to start with momentum. Too often, I see athletes, they go to do a pull-up and they simply jump up to the bar with no momentum, and then they start kipping and they try to get their pull-up. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage if you're not starting with a bit of momentum. Here's what I mean. When you go to do your pull-up, I want you to jump into a hollow body position slightly behind the bar so that it gives you a really strong kip swing to get momentum, to get your chin above the bar or your chest to the bar. All you have to do is take a half step back, jump into a hollow body position, and look at how much momentum I get right from the first jump. That's it. If you jump in with momentum, you will be able to get your chin above the bar much more easily or your chest to the bar much more easily. To add even more momentum, you can also try the box drop-in technique, or you just use a J-hook, which is what I have here on the side of the rig. Get yourself up on the bar, get a nice strong grip. We'll talk about using grips in a second. Choke up on the bar a little bit, and then from here, I drop in to that rep. Either way, whether you jump in or even better, especially if you're still struggling to get that first rep, use a box and drop in or use a J-hook. Get that momentum by jumping into the first rep, and I assure you, it's gonna make getting those reps much more easy. If you struggle to get your chin over the bar or your chest to the bar, there's a really good probability you're missing the hip hop. The hip hop is where we take our hip momentum, I drive my hips, And that energy transfers up and allows me to get the rep. A lot of people, including a recent seminar that I just ran for pull-ups, every single person in the class was missing the hip hop. I was like, why is this happening? Their kipping pattern is great. It just looks like this. And they just can't get high enough. Well, that's because they're missing the key ingredient of a hip hop. So I know it's going to sound crazy. If you struggle with the hip hop, here's what I want you to do. I want you to imagine it's a frog kick. Hear me out. It's not pretty, but it does work. And it is effective because I've seen a lot of people get their chest to the bar and get their chin up over the bar by using this. Imagine you are doing a max set of strict pull-ups. And for the last pull-up, you can't quite get it. What are you naturally going to do? What does everyone do? They go, ugh. That's a hip hop, folks. So if you're someone struggling with the hip hop, or you're struggling to get your chin over the bar or chest to the bar, as you do that kip, I want you to think of doing a little frog kick in there. It doesn't have to look ridiculous. Here's what it might look like. I jump up into that hollow position. That's it. Just a little kick where I'm stomping my feet down or frog kicking or whatever works for you. That will give me the hip hop I need to finish the rep. If you're doing 25.2 and you can do 10 unbroken kipping pull-ups, congratulations, I want you to do singles. I know it sounds crazy, but so many athletes in this workout will get to the first set of pull-ups or maybe the second set of pull-ups, and they're gonna hit huge unbroken sets, which will completely burn them out. I don't care how many reps unbroken you can do. What I care about is you getting through the reps efficiently and effectively. And for most people, I would even venture to say if you can't do more than 15 reps, singles is a much better way to do this workout. Here's what I mean. Rather than using all of your energy and you get a rep and then you're like, ugh, and you start swinging around and your momentum gets off and you're using a lot of energy to try to control yourself, just make it easy. Do one rep at a time. Here's what it looks like. Always remembering I'm jumping in with momentum, whether I'm using the J hook or a box or a bench or just jumping. You'll notice it's not that slow and it saves a ton of energy. As soon as I get my chest to the bar or my chin above the bar, I just let go and go back down. Rather than controlling myself all the way back down into another rep, you will actually keep your heart rate down, you'll fatigue yourself less, and you will get through this workout much more effectively and efficiently if you do singles. The only time I want to see you do bigger unbroken sets, maybe sets of 3, maybe sets of 5, is if on a good day, fresh, you can do 15 plus of the movement, whether that's pull-ups, chest to bar, or bar muscle-ups. I promise it's going to make you get a better score. Next, it's time to talk about grips. If you are someone who is going to do unbroken sets, I highly recommend using gymnastic grips to 1, save your hands, and 2, give you better leverage on the bar. Here's what I mean, and this actually still applies to singles as well. Get yourself a pair of good grips. There's a lot of great grips in the market. The ones that I personally choose are the RX Smart Gear Alex Smith 2.0 grips. Next, you want to chalk, not here, here, because this is where I want the bar. I promise you. This is how you use a grip properly. Chalk the bottom. When you grab onto the bar, you want to throw the grip over so the bar is at the base of your palm. Then you use your weight of your body to pinch down on the bar. And what it does is it takes all of the weight of your body, and rather than putting it on your hands and your calluses and fatiguing your grip, it puts all of the weight on your wrist. So this right here, I'm like yanking on this grip. That's what it should feel like. All the pressure is on your wrist, not your hands. That will allow you to have better elevation on the bar because it's like a false grip. You get a couple inches of extra leverage, and it's going to prevent your forearms from fatiguing at all. So here's what it looks like. Rather than here, which is what most people do, they grab with their fingertips, and basically all the weight of their body is on their hands. Instead, jump up and over, or I'll even demonstrate because I think it's easier if I'm standing on something. I want you to put the grip here. You can see how it's at the base of my palm. Let it fall over like that, and then I pinch with my fingers. If I do that, this grip is unstoppable. I can hang out here all day doing pull-ups, bar muscle-ups, everything you want. If using the thumb over top method scares you, you can wrap your thumbs. It does make it a little bit harder to choke up quite as much. Do it at your own risk, but recently I have switched to a thumb over grip using this technique, and that grip is bulletproof for me. Now, let's talk about bar muscle-ups. These are my best tips. There's so many people that are probably watching this. They're like, if I can just get one bar muscle-up, well, you're in the right spot. And good news, a lot of the stuff you already learned in this video applies to bar muscle ups. Tip number 1 is momentum. Yes, when we're doing bar muscle ups, the same things I talked about earlier apply. I want you to jump into that first rep. This is going to give you a lot more momentum, which will thus give you more elevation, which will thus allow you to get over the bar. Or, even better, use the box drop-in or the J-hook and jump into that first rep. If you want even the best way, the best version that I think helps beginners the most, set up a box on either side of you or a bench on either side of you or J-hooks on either side of you and like this, jump into that rep. Next tip for bar muscle ups. If you're someone that can do chest to bar pull-ups and you're like, I just can't figure out why I can't do bar muscle ups, this is it. You need to go around the bar, not through the bar. With ring muscle ups, I can pull straight up and go through the rings into my transition. But I don't think anyone is gonna break through a pull-up bar. So when you're doing bar muscle ups, a common mistake people make is they just do a big chest to bar and they can't figure out why they're not able to get above the bar. Well, that's because they're literally pulling the bar into their chest, which blocks them from actually making that transition. So when you're doing your bar muscle ups, I want you to keep your arms as straight as possible for as long as possible. And what that will allow you to do is go around the bar and over it, rather than through the bar and not get over top. Here's what I mean. Most people do this. They get to here, and then they start to pull. Okay, so it looks like this. And they can't get over the bar, just a big chest to bar, or a sternum to bar, or a belly button to bar. If you delay your arm pull, you don't bend your arms as early, and instead you push down with straight arms, activating your lats, pushing down with straight arms as long as possible, here's what it'll look like. What that does is that gets your body up and away from the bar, and then when you go for your transition, you're able to get over top of it. Next tip for the bar muscle up. If you're struggling with the transition, you're like, Ben, I think I'm getting high enough, I just can't quite get over the bar. I want you to think about breaking the glass. Imagine there's a sheet of glass over top of the pull-up bar, an imaginary sheet of glass. When you go to make that bar muscle up transition, I want you to try to break through that glass with your forehead. Here's what it looks like. So once you're up, you've gone around the bar, your arms are straight, the last thing you need to do is break the glass with your forehead, because where your head goes, your body will follow. The reason people don't make their transition oftentimes is because they don't actually do that fast sit-up. They don't drive their head through. So it looks like this. They keep their head up and they're like, ugh! And their whole weight, all their weight is behind the bar and it just pulls them back down. What you need to do as you're going around the bar is get your head and shoulders over the bar. If I do that, it's gonna pull me over and you'll settle in to that muscle up and you'll get the rep. Additionally, this kind of is like a double tip, is if you find yourself getting up and falling down and the break the glass technique just isn't working, you're like, I'm still stuck. It could be because you're not letting go of your grip. Here's what I mean. I'm even gonna remove the grips just so you can see it. Watch my hands closely. If I grab and when I do a bar muscle up, my hands don't move at all, there's no way you're gonna get over top of the bar because your hands are locked in. We have to transition from below to above the bar. So I'm gonna do a good rep this time. Watch the difference. Watch how my hands go from below, they release as I transition, and then they re-grip. And that's gonna help you take your momentum and go from below to above the bar. Watch again, here it is. Okay, so my hands literally, as I'm transitioning, as I'm breaking the glass, my hands release ever so slightly, slide around the bar, and re-grip above the bar for the bar muscle up. And one more cue that's helped a lot of people learn bar muscle ups. If those other two cues don't work, but you feel like you're getting close, I want you to think about ceiling to floor. Literally find a spot on the ceiling, and I want you to look up the entire time you're below the bar, looking up. When it comes time to do the transition, all I want you to do is look down. I'll literally take chalk and mark an X or put something, a target for me to look for in front of the bar. And here's what happens. When you go from looking up to looking down, I go like this and this, it helps you get that fast sit up. It helps you break the glass. Here's what it looks like. Watch my head position specifically. Just doing that with your head can help pull you over the bar and get you that first bar muscle up. And a couple things, the grip stuff I talked about with the pull-ups, yes, that applies as well. If you can choke up your grips, like I mentioned, that's gonna help you get bar muscle ups, especially those singles. Speaking of singles, if you can't do more than 10 unbroken bar muscle-ups, you shouldn't be doing multiples. You should probably be doing singles, maybe sets of 2 or 3. Do not try to go for huge unbroken sets in the bar muscle-ups when you're tired. Instead, just focus on hitting quick singles with that big jump in, all the stuff we talked about for the pull-ups and the bar muscle-ups with those transition tips. And I really hope this video helps somebody learn double unders, get their first pull-up, first chest to bar, first bar muscle-up in the comments below. If it did, please let me know. Remember, the full strategy video has already been made and it already exists on YouTube. Go get that. The link is in the description. If you want all of these resources delivered directly to your email, completely free, go to wadprep.com/open, enter your name and email, and I'll send you all of our free strategy for this week and next week. Also, if you're someone who's like, I really want to work with a WOD Prep coach, I want Ben or one of his colleagues to tell me what I'm doing wrong with my muscle-ups or my double unders, join the $3 coaching group. It's $3, folks. It's really cheap. The link is on the screen or in the description below. And remember, if you want to support WOD Prep, even if you don't pay $3, it's okay. We give all of our stuff away for free, pretty much, here on the internet. If you want to support WOD Prep, go buy a brand new jump rope from RX Smart Gear, or go buy my favorite grips from RX Smart Gear. RxSmartGear.com. Use the code WODPrep20, and you're going to help support the show and support an amazing company. And with that, go crush 25.2. Let me know in the comments if any of this helped. This was different than my normal strategy guides because I really wanted to dig in to helping you or any athlete get their first blank, double unders, pull-ups, bar muscle-ups. I hope it helped, and I hope that you experience open magic, and I'll see you on the leaderboard.